The U.S. Supreme Court recently issued a landmark decision on LGBTQ+ rights in the workplace, and the impact could be important in education as well. Is there LGBTQ+ equity on college campuses? To find out, watch Outlook Montgomery.